Hi guys, so here I'm Rory here, co-founder of Sublime Trading, here with your daily update for the UK and US indices for Wednesday the 10th of June. Alright guys, hope you're well. So let's get straight into the US indices, starting with the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones. I mentioned yesterday that price could be finding an element of resistance. We did see weakness yesterday, and so far at the start of play today we've seen further bearishness. So for the short term, at least on the Dow Jones and the S&P 500, we are seeing some kind of pullback or some kind of bearish activity. Looking at the Nasdaq is still leading the way, still pushing to new highs, pushing towards that 10,000 round number before we see any sort of resistance. Moving across to the UK market, yesterday we saw a bearish day with price as a key level of resistance. So far today we're seeing price finding some kind of support. So on the FTSE 100, price stuck between resistance and support. We need to see a breakout, and ideally a breakout to the upside. So where are we right now? Well, ultimately we need to apply patience. We need to let price move through these areas of resistance ahead before we can really have any clear idea on which direction the market really wants to move. As the current trend is bullish, and it has been bullish since March, then we want to keep our bias in the direction of the trend, which is currently bullish. We just need to apply patience and let price dictate a break through these areas of resistance ahead. So an element of patience for now, but overall our stance is still very much bullish. So let's move into the charts. So guys, if you're new to these daily updates, then I recommend starting with the recording that's pinned to the top of our Facebook page to get a good understanding of what I go through in these charts. So as always, this is our 3-screen setup. We have the monthly in the top left, weekly in the top right, and our daily chart down here across the bottom. Starting with the monthly time frame, we can see that June is looking bullish, but it's faced with immediate resistance, which is the high of last year. On the weekly time frame, price above the 250 simple moving average. We had a bullish week last week, but so far this week a slow week, and that's because of price being faced with resistance. On the daily time frame, you can see price above the 200 moving average, the 20 and the 50 simple moving average. Also, more importantly, you can see the 20 moving average now moving above the 200, so a golden cross in place. Here we can see the short-term resistance that price is being faced with. This is not an area to be shorting. A very small pullback in relation to the overall trend, so not an area you want to start opening short positions. Instead, you want to apply patience, wait for a break and close above the high of Monday's bar, and that will then suggest a continuation towards the all-time high. That's the current all-time high, and also, as already mentioned, a break and close above the high of last year. Moving to the Nasdaq, we can see June really pushing ahead, creating new all-time highs. On the weekly, price above the 250 simple moving average. Again, good bullish week so far this week, especially compared to the S&P 500. And on the daily time frame, price above the all-time high, above the 20 simple moving average, the 50 and the 200 simple moving average. A gap up at the start of play today. If I just open up the daily time frame, we can see that the gap up has taken price to that 10,000 round number. So it'll be interesting to see when this pullback comes in, potentially a pullback to the previous all-time high. If that pullback materializes, it will materialize at some point. You can see that from this particular point there's always pullbacks in the trend, so it's all part and parcel of trend structure. When that pullback comes in is very much down to the force of the market. Will we get a pullback towards this area of support, or will we see further strength and then a pullback to that 10,000 round number? At some point we will see a pullback. On the Dow Jones, June looking bullish but still trading below the high of last year. On the weekly, price above the 200 and the 50 simple moving average, and on the daily time frame, price above all three moving averages. Here's that pullback, as already mentioned, waiting for the next breakout to suggest strength towards the current all-time high. Moving to the S&P 500 mini, the day is already open, so just looking at the daily time frame, we can see that there is a pullback in play, and that was suggesting at the start of play today, the price was suggesting further weakness potentially. So it'll be interesting to see how the day ends. Moving to the FTSE 100, starting on the monthly, we can see where price is finding resistance and where the bears are coming in, pushing price down. On the daily time frame, price below the 200 and the 50 simple moving average, a bearish week so far this week. And on the daily time frame, price below the 200, above the 20 and the 50 simple moving averages. We can see this pullback. If you look at today's bar, potentially an end to this pullback and then we could see strength towards the rest of this week. But again, it's really down to the forces of the market to dictate. Ultimately, looking for a breakout above the high of June to suggest strength to the 200 moving average, and then further strength towards the current all-time high. So for now, just an element of patience required as we wait for price to dictate the next round of breakouts. Currently going through pullbacks. The next round of breakouts, particularly in the S&P 500, will be significant. So that's me for today, guys. Please like, comment and share. Let's get people understanding how to use these indices correctly, and I will be back with tomorrow's daily update.